Hello, everyone, Nat 1995 here in the video game fanfic plot with a new story for you all. It is called A Spark of Life. And remember, I do not own this story and I give full credit to its author, that is Kiera27 on fanfiction.net, and this a Harry Potter crossover with Transformers. Now on to the story. Well, that's the ending of that chapter. I do hope you enjoy this video. If you like to see more, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below. Until next time.
Just thick enough. Sam could vividly remember calling his cousin crazy, but he had been joking at the time. He hadn't actually thought that he was crazy. Of course, he should have known better. You brought the con that tried to rip me into little pieces right up to the alley a block from my house, and you want me to talk the Autobots into fixing him because he says that he wants to switch sides. Harry could practically feel the explosion that Sam was barely managing to contain. I know how it sounds, but shouldn't we at least give him the benefit of the doubt for right now? We're supposed to be the good guys in this fight, and good guys don't leave injured people lying around because they were once on the opposite side. What if he's just trying to find out where the base is so the rest of the cons can plan some kind of mass bombing while we're all asleep? Sam wanted to raise his voice, but he had the feeling that that wouldn't go over so well with his little pint-sized cousin. Oh come on, like a massive military installation in the middle of the desert with a bunch of walking building-sized robots would be that hard to find? Harry was more than a bit frustrated. The cons have at least 2 in their number that can fly. All they would have to do is fly overhead and send the coordinates back to the others, though I'm sure Megatron wouldn't bother and would just bomb the heck out of them on his own. There isn't really any threat to taking him to see Ratchet. Harry stood tall and started counting out reasons with his hands. First, he's far too injured to pull anything dangerous. I doubt he'll even make it to the base without help. Second, even if he managed something, he would be vastly outnumbered and probably wouldn't get far without ending up back where he is right now. On top of those reasons, this could be an excellent opportunity to learn about how the cons work. We could learn what we need to be on the lookout for and what they might try next. Sam somehow knew that this would come back to bite him in the rear, but a pouting Harry Potter was more than he could handle. Of course, convincing Bumblebee was not going to be easy. Absolutely not. Bumblebee was not pleased. His human had finally gone around the bend. He blamed the stress from the battle and the exposure to the other humans. We are not going to take a con to the middle of our base. He's a security risk. Sam sighed and tried to keep from agreeing, as Harry was currently sneaking Barricade into the backyard and he didn't have a lot of time. Look, he's in pretty bad shape and he might be able to give us important information about Megatron. We need all the help we can get, and he agreed to have Ratchet disable his weapons while he is on base. Bumblebee's faceplates scrunched up as he fought the natural urge to immediately say no, rather loudly. His human wanted this, however reluctantly. Sam was the one that had gotten attacked by Barricade, and while he didn't look thrilled by the idea, he was still set on getting his way. Bumblebee didn't want to fight with Sam. It made his circuits hurt. If Sam wanted this to happen, then it was going to happen. All right, I can tow him if he can't make it on his own, but someone is going to have to sit in his alt form to keep the humans in the city from saying anything, and it will not be you. Sam was amazed that Bumblebee gave up so easily, but he certainly wasn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Thanks, B. Harry won't have a problem with pretending to steer Barricade, and he isn't in any kind of shape to make trouble. Sam took off like a shot before B could change his mind, not seeing the exasperated look on B's face. B agreed to tow Barricade to the base if you sat inside of him so he doesn't get pulled over for pulling an empty car. Sam looked at the battered police cruiser and back at his cousin, that frankly looked a bit too pleased with the situation. It's bad enough that he's a police car. Thank you, Sam. I knew Bumblebee would agree if you asked him. Harry ignored the confusion on Sam's face before turning to Barricade. You don't mind letting me ride with you, do you? Barricade looked at the little spark and let his lights flash in amusement. It isn't like I have much of a choice, but I can think of worse fates, I assure you. I could have gotten stuck with Sam or his rather terrifying mother. Hey. Both Barricade and Harry laughed long and hard as Sam protested that he was the better passenger and how horrible it was to be grouped with his mother like that. Optimus Prime had the horrible feeling that something was going to make his already hectic life much worse very soon. It was the same feeling he had right before Megatron went and started this whole pointless war in the first place. Being towed by a bright yellow Camaro down city streets with several government vehicles trailing behind does not scream stealth by any means. Harry found that Barricade had an extremely dry sense of humor when he was uncomfortable. Yes, but a beaten-up police cruiser that can hardly hit 30 rolling down the road with everyone still surrounding it is even stranger. Harry leaned back into the seat and barely remembered to keep his hands on the wheel that was moving slightly on its own. Do you think anyone would notice if I just took a little nap? Are you in need of a recharge badly enough that you can't wait until we reach the Autobot base? Barricade had already noted that the little spark's energy readings were extremely unbalanced and reasoned that his human form was still struggling to become accustomed to the new energy. Yeah, I still feel tired all the time, but if anyone else found out they wouldn't let me out of bed, and it hasn't been that long since they let me off bed rest. Ips would throw a fit if he thought I still wasn't better. Harry kind of enjoyed being worried about, but everything has its limits. The moment Barricade noticed that there were no civilians within sight, he shifted his windows to a much darker tint that would hide the little one without worrying the bug. That should keep them from noticing you taking a recharge. I will tell you when we are nearing the base. Harry smiled a bit when the seat he was in moved into the reclining position and the radio found a station of easy listening with a low volume. Thank you, Cade. Getting into the base without anyone noticing that they had new passenger was easier than any of them thought it was going to be. Most of the humans were still getting their things together with their guards, the Witwickies were fairly close by, and the Autobots that were left were trying to get the transmitters to function for more than 30 minutes before shorting out. The Bumblebee was the only one that was occupied other than the communication hangar, which was just the centermost building, and it was home to a rather aggravated Ratchet. As the youngest member of the group and the least likely to get taken apart, Harry was voted as the bearer of bad news. Hey, Ratchet? Harry hadn't really had much of a chance to interact with Ratchet other than when the bot was tending to him, and was hoping that human doctors and Autobot doctors were similar. As a medbot, did you have to take any kind of oath saying that you would help any bot that needed it, or anything like the doctors here do? We do not take an oath similar to the Hippocratic oath that your doctors swear to, but we all share the same distaste for needless fighting as long as we were made to be medbots. Ratchet didn't even look up from the reports Optimus had left for him to answer the boy. So while you do not swear to heal anyone, you're more likely to do so because it's part of your programming to heal first. Trying to understand machines when most of them short-circuit in your presence is harder than it sounds. So if for some reason there was a Decepticon that was hurt and promised not to hurt anyone, you would at least consider helping, right? Ratchet swung around to look at the little human and felt the energon drain out of his circuits at the sight of a painfully beat-up police cruiser almost trying to hide behind him. I honestly thought that the ones thick enough to bring a con to the middle of our base would be Samuel and Bumblebee. This was followed by two indignant squawks and the two mentioned individuals entering the hangar looking highly offended. I suppose I was half right then. They obviously helped.